Let's talk Steelers. It's kickoff time for the Cigar International's Let's Talk Stillers show. Sponsored by Cigars International. Stop by our Bridgeville store today. Parking Chair Vodka. Respect the chair. It's a Pittsburgh thing. Forest Lodge and Campground. Cooks Forest, PA. Your adventure starts here. Visit Canton, Ohio. Red Fox Winery and Lounge. Let's talk Steelers.
This holiday season, the Ravens still suck. Here we go.
Huddle up, Steelers Nation. It's Tank and Mike from Cigars International here in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. I love that little cartoon with the Ben Stonium and kicking that Raven's head from the beginning. Check out my buddies at Ben Stonium. They're funny guys. Mike, we're the best of the worst in the AFC North. We are the best team of the worst of the Browns, of the Bengals, and now the Ravens. I want to talk about offense first, right? Aaron Rodgers running across and doing the double check. Everything went right in Baltimore with the offense.
Well, you're right on the roller coaster right now. You know, last week everyone's firing the coach. The team stinks.
Oh, I still want to fire the coach.
Everyone's, now they're, hey, we're gonna get in the playoffs. So listen, you got to just one game at a time. There's so much parity in the NFL. You never know what's going to happen. But to me, the way Rodgers played this past week, he ran into the end zone. Hey, I still got it. And he does. I mean, because honestly, you saw some mobility. He was able to escape the pocket, make some plays downfield, hit DK Metcalf downfield, some big play balls. He's still got to be better off the press. But, even, the one catch and, saw some blocking, the smart veteran play of Adam Thielen, because he knows the ins and outs of reading coverages. Good pickup because, he's a veteran that's been around. He's got a relationship with Rodgers. He's a smart player. He's a cerebral player. So he understands where to find those soft spots in the defense when it's necessary, and then allows, DK to stretch the field a little bit more.
All right, I want to bring up the next-gen stats to take a look at. Mike, this was a different offense. This was not the chitty-chitty, bang-bang, clunk and dink offense that we've seen in the last couple of weeks that I hate, that the statistics, even though we went to Baltimore and it looked good, Mike, we're still offensively one of the worst teams in the league. We're 27, 23 ranking in a lot of categories. But you and I watched the game, we texted back and forth.
But they're trending in the right direction.
They're trending for right now. I think that it was clear that Aaron Rodgers was given more ability to go to the line of scrimmage, call some plays at the line of scrimmage, and you saw an absolute reason why he should be allowed to do that. I forget when it was, second quarter, the Steelers were close. They got the first down, but it was subject. Rodgers is screaming to spike the ball, ball.
Well, that's just...
But hold on, Arthur Smith doesn't have the presence as his offensive coordinator and is trying to make some
Well, no, I don't think they
personnel
were
adjustments
to
at
the
the
time. Trying to
time.
snap the ball to just, because they knew there was a potential that it might have not have been a catch.
That's right.
And
Rodgers knew it, but Arthur Smith, who's supposed to know these things, is trying to make a substitution.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, he's, you've got that veteran quarterback that you've got to give him that freedom because he understands the game. I was like, listen, let's just get up. Let's just snap the ball. It's first down. We run the football. Now we're good to go. But now that you make the sub, the defense changes. Now they can do their expedited review, which to me, I don't know. I mean, the NFL seems to buzz in on some weird times if an announcer says something. You see a lot of announcers going back and backtracking, saying that's a bad call, and then they come back from commercial breaks. So to me, there's something going on. I think obviously if you're gonna make rulings, you know, a lot of even penalties could be reviewed. But again, back to Rodgers, he realized that the ball was not caught. Get on the line. Let's just get that play snapped so we can get that free play. But at the same, you know, so you've got to give him that ability. And then with a guy like that, he understands the defense. He understands the blitzes. Obviously, he did get burned on one. He did get, you know, I'm sure he would even admit that. They get the delay of game. He was trying to get to a check. But he sees things better than other quarterbacks. Oh. That is his superpower. You know, he's 42 years old.
He's been there, done that.
So if you're going to use a 42-year-old quarterback, you're sacrificing on maybe the health, you're sacrificing maybe on the mobility, but you got to use the strengths that he has. And the strength is he's got the brains to manage the game on the field as a coach, and you have to give him that freedom. And I think, you know, it's the difference of maybe, you know, 2 to 3 plays a game where it could be the difference in the game.
Look, I said when Aaron Rodgers came here, I wrote on our Facebook page that you have not had a quality offensive coordinator since Bruce Arians. But wait a minute, you had a new offensive coordinator in Aaron Rodgers, who was coming to town, premised upon what you said. He's been there, he's done that. Look, Arthur Smith's offense is an abject failure up until this point. Again, in so many categories. They're ranked 27 in the league.
Again, we don't
23
know. I mean,
in the league.
You don't know that if you're not in the building, you don't understand the ins and outs. When you're an offensive coordinator, sometimes, hey, maybe the players can't get a certain thing. Maybe they're just not mature enough to handle certain things. When you're a coordinator, look, there's a lot of circumstances that go in. Hey, you don't know. Does he have full autonomy? Does the head coach step in and say, I don't want that?
Tomlin can't even call it defense, but I don't want him calling the offense.
But my whole point is we won't know until you are actually in the building and you know the ins and outs and you know what the ins and outs of your weapons, the weakness, strengths is. You know, so there's a lot that goes to it.
I respect you. You've been in NFL locker rooms. Mike played for Lions and Eagles at quarterback. He knows what he's talking about. But I still lay all this on the hills of Arthur Smith. And look, if I want to talk about a statistic, I want to see how you think this bears out. Right now, the Steelers are historically the best team ever to play pro football in yards after catch. Yeah. Which is attributable to Metcalf's wheels and that bulldozer in Mount Washington catching the ball.
Is it just this season or?
Just this season, right now. Now, if you juxtapose that to all the other categories where they're 27, 23, number 30 overall, offensively in the league, they have the talent. You cannot look at Gainwell and say, he ain't no running back.
He is a weapon.
He is a weapon. Jaylen Warren is a weapon. Where is Pratt Firemouth? And again, if you go back to that next gen stat, they didn't really attack the middle of the field again. Look, you went down and you beat an average football team in the Baltimore Ravens. You're the best of the worst right now. The Kitty Cats of Cincinnati, the Brown Man of Cleveland, the Cincinnati Bengals, and you beat the Chicken Hawks down there in Baltimore last week. That doesn't mean this team is where you want it. You were after the head of Mike Tomlin after the Bills loss. Mike, this changes nothing about what I think about the 2025 Steelers and the future. Tomlin's got to go. He's the one that hired Arthur Smith, where they're 27th, 25th in the league, okay? And the defense, which we're going to get into in the next segment, this billion-dollar quartet defense, or whatever it is also objectively failing, so.
Again, I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played.
I love your positive attitude. You got a better attitude than Notre Dame has.
I will say you saw other people in the national media maybe agreeing or as far as going separate ways. Even even Roethlisberger came out and said, it might be a good change of scenery for both people. Again, there's too much football to be played. A lot can happen. You're going to play the Ravens again. That game could be the game to decide who wins. But you've got the Dolphins this week. It's a big game. I mean, they're going to come up here. That's why I got my hat on. The Dolphins, they got to try to stay warm. They got to be. It's going to be a little uncomfortable for them. But they've been running the football well. So the Steelers are going to have to step up that run game defense, and stop the Dolphins, force them to throw it. The Dolphins' pass defense is one of the better pass defenses in the league. However, they also they are the second in the team to force fumbles. Steelers are number 1 forcing fumbles. Dolphins are number 2. So it could be an ugly defensive battle.
It's going to be an ugly game. We got to take a commercial break.
But they have to win this one because
the tuna fish.
Otherwise, it's going to come down to the Ravens and the Steelers and week 18.
It always comes down to the Ravens and Steelers. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Steelers defense and again about the Miami tuna fish coming up here. They're on a big winning streak. They too have beaten a lot of nobodies.
4 in a row. 4 in a row.
They beat nobody to go nowhere.
But they're finding a way to win. Steelers up 1 week, down 1 week, up, down 1 week. Let's just get some consistency.
Mr. Limpet ain't beating nobody.
Who is that man with the big cigar? He's known around from near and far. That actor man with the big cigar. He pops away every night and day with a twinkle in his eye. And all the while, behind that smile lurks many an untold lie. Don't white hallway, you'll see his car. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere with the big cigar.
Parking chair vodka. Respect the chair. It's a Pittsburgh thing.
Lawrenceville Distilling.
Let's talk Steelers.
Hey, it's time for this week's Parking Chair Vodka Shot of the Week. I have 3 favorite football teams. Of course, my PITT Panthers. Hail Coach Fazio. The University of Alabama. Hail Bear Bryant. And since I'm Irish in heritage, I've always loved the Notre Dame Irish. But I tell you what, this week's Shot of the Week is that the entire athletic department and coaching staff with the Golden Domers up there. Let me tell you something, Notre Dame. It's not your birthright. It's not your birthright to go to the national championship game. I don't know if the committee got it right or wrong by not putting you into the national championship, but it is an honor. It is a privilege to get, invited to a bowl game. That's like getting invited to somebody's home, a mansion, and saying, I'm too good to go to the mansion. You disgraced yourself, Notre Dame, and your fans that are supporting you by not going to a bowl game. It is a privilege and an honor. It is not your birthright to go and play for a national championship.
Will you punch me in the solar plexus right now? Oh, there it is. No. Oh, no. Oh.
Dave, see, that was too formal. I should just go like that.
I know,
Go,
exactly.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, first of all, thanks for knocking me over, Tank.
Ow! My hands!
I fall over very easy nowadays.
Ow!
Yeah, right.
You know what? Tunch and Wolf are missed every single day, not just because of the fact that they were famous football players, not the fact that Tunch and Wolf did so much, you know, they were good announcers too, but why they're really missed is because they were good guys. I knew both of them personally. I love both of them. Old offensive linemen, you know, tend to get along, and they've really left a void with the community outreach they've done, specifically with the Light of Life Ministries here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Annie's joining us today. She got her black and gold on. I love it.
Yep, gotta rock out the Light of Life in the Stil'rs country.
I love it. We're gonna have to get something to Tunch and Wolf and, you know, just to memorize them every year. Tell the folks what you do at Light of Life Ministry.
Yeah, so Light of Life has been serving Pittsburgh's homeless community for the last 70 plus years, since 1952. We serve the homeless, those that suffer from addiction or mental health. And probably over the last decade or so, we found that not only the homeless community is in need of help, but those that are on the brink of homelessness. So this past year, we actually opened up an outreach center, and within that outreach center has our food pantry, our donation center, free store, and then just this past year as well, we decided to partner with another nonprofit ministry called Off the Floor Pittsburgh. And so what they do is they provide furniture for people transitioning out of homelessness. So if you are someone that ends up getting, you know, off the street and you're trying to start a new life for
Sure,
yourself,
it's not easy.
It's not easy
It's
at all.
not easy if things are going right in
yeah.
life. Life is difficult.
Yeah.
Think about it. Even if you have a job and everything's going great, you know, I always say life is like rice paper. It's very thin, it's very fragile, and you know, your heart goes out, you know, to somebody, maybe the husband passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 kids you're trying to feed and get on their feet, like you said, with housing.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people are still trying to not only obtain their housing, obviously with affordability and rents going up and groceries going up, there's a lot of people that were never on the brink of homelessness, and now they sort of find themselves living paycheck to paycheck because things are just increasing. But then, of course, if you're homeless, it's just that much harder to sort of dig yourself out of that hole, which is why Light of Life exists, right? Like, and that's something that Tunch would always say. His famous quote was, "Once you walk into the doors of Light of Life, you're never the same." And we like to say that hope begins with a meal. So if you are someone who's homeless and you just come in simply for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can then get exposed to our other services and programs that will help sort of get you out of the reasoning why you became homeless to begin with, because everybody's story is different.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Now, what was it, like a 5K walk the guys used to have? Are we still continuing that?
So, just a little bit of background, I guess, about Tunch and Wolf and their involvement with the mission. You know, for over 40 years, around 40 years, those two guys were serving at the mission. It started back in the 80s, and then for about 20 years, we had the Tunch and Wolf Walk for the Homeless.
Yeah.
And so they've raised millions of dollars over those years just using their platform to help people less fortunate, to help the homeless, because that's what they truly believed in. We eventually retired the walk after Tunch's passing, and Wolf agreed to do a memorial golf outing to help raise money for the mission instead, which is actually funny at the time of Wolf, because apparently those two hated golf and we ended up doing the golf.
Yeah, I know they did. I know they did. I tried to get them to a couple of other golf events, and they're like, we'll ride around in a cart and smoke cigars. Look, if you didn't know Tunch and Wolf, I'm telling you, what they brought to television was who they were all the time. They were two madmen. And, you know, God has a purpose with everybody, I believe. And he just decided to bring them home a little bit earlier. Well, how can people help other people? You know, we're strong here in Yunzer's Nation. We're strong in Stil'rs Nation. You know, it's Christmas time. It's the giving time of year. Like my church over here in Mount Lebanon, we have a donation box. I plan to go down to Walmart, get some new items, and put in there. How many more new socks do I need? I cannot have some cigars, you know, and put a couple cigars away to help some other people in need out, not only at the holiday season, but year long with Light of Life Ministries. How do people help you? How do they help their friends and neighbors?
So one of the great things about Pittsburgh is that we are from the city where Mr. Rogers is from, right? So we learned at an early age.
I'm from Latrobe.
See, there you go.
I would see him walking around. I go, there he goes.
I love that. Well,
Him and Arnold Plum.
yes, can't forget about Arnold Plum. If we are learning from the great Mr. Rogers that he taught us to help our neighbors, right? Love our neighbors. And the great thing about Light of Life is there's plenty of different ways that people can give back besides just, of course, like a monetary donation. Our volunteers are really the heart of like what we do at the mission. We have so many volunteers, so many different opportunities that go beyond just, you know, serving a meal over the kitchen line. And of course, like we need other donations. Right now we're doing a winter coat drive. We're trying to actually get 1,000 winter coats in.
Are those
by
new or used? Can I
gently-
give you a
gently
nice used Columbia I have?
For sure, yes. Even if it's used, it's gently used or new, and we're always in need of clothing. Of course, if you have any like furniture that you'd like to donate, you can now donate that to Off the Floor. And all of that is housed in our outreach center, which is actually right across the street from our emergency shelter building.
And that's on the north side,
Yeah,
right?
on the north side.
North side, up there where, you know, Mr. Rooney's house is.
And of course, you can go to lightoflife.org if you want to have like a full encompassing experience as to all the ways that you can give back to the mission. But I just encourage people, we always encourage people, do what's on your heart. That's what Teaching Wolf did. They would just come to our emergency shelter on a random Tuesday night with their families just to serve. Media wasn't there. It didn't matter to them. That's just what they wanted to do. That's what was in their hearts. So if you have a heart for women and children, we have a women and children's program as well. So you can give back to that in a number of different ways. So there's a lot that you can be doing year round, but specifically this time of year for Christmas, there's a lot of people outside. I mean, it's like 17 degrees outside
I can't
right
even
now.
imagine.
So winter clothing, monetary donations so we can keep the meals going and the programs going, all of that goes such a long way.
I love it. I love it. Look, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, if you miss Tunch and Wolf like we all do who knew them, or if you just want to help somebody that's in need, you can't find any better organization in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania than Light of Life. Now again, you're in the north side. What do they call that thing? The old WW, you know, you get on the Google machine and you type things in. I think they call it a website. What's the website?
Yes, so our website would be the www.lightoflife.org.
I love it. I love it. It's right down there below. If you miss Tunch and Wolf, if you want to help your Pittsburgh neighbors, help a beautiful cause in Pittsburgh. Happy holidays. Look, it's Mr. Rooney.
Who is that man with the big cigar? He's known around from near and far. That actor man with the big cigar. He puffs away every night and day with a twinkle in his eye. And all the while, behind that smile lurks many an untold lie. Down Whitehall Way, you'll see his car. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere with the big cigar.
Parking chair vodka. Respect the chair. It's a Pittsburgh thing.
Barnesville Distilling.
Let's talk Steelers.
Hey, don't forget about Forest Lodge and Campground. I was up there this fall. It's beautiful. Go north of Pittsburgh, Cook's Forest. You're going to love it up there. You can drink beer and talk Steelers all day long around the beautiful fire pits at Forest Lodge and Campground. Welcome back to Let's Talk Steelers from Cigars International, Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. Mike and Tank sitting there talking about the Ravens thing. You know, you and I during the commercial break were talking a little bit about offensive rankings, defensive rankings. You know, offensively they rank 27th in this category and 23. How many teams are in the NFL?
32.
32, okay. Defensively they rank, 27th and 30th in this. I'm going to tell you something. If I'm a coach, all right, and I'm putting on the crazy Tank head coach thing right now, I am throwing chairs, I am breaking chalkboards, and I am losing my mind right now because this is unacceptable. You want to make a winning football team, you want to win another Super Bowl, number 7 or 8 or whatever it is we're after here. You, as a head coach, don't walk into your facility and go, our offensive rankings were 23, 27, 30.
No coach is doing that.
He's got to be, well, what I'm saying is I don't want him blowing kisses at the camera when he goes down to Baltimore and he barely wins that game because the referees helped him. Well, likely caught the ball and it was a touchdown. Touchdown Ravens, and it's a victory. I don't want Tomlin blowing kisses at the camera after stuff like that. I don't see where he's not enraged.
Winning in the NFL is one of the hardest things to do in the world. To win a game in the NFL is difficult. So you have to celebrate those wins. You have to. The season's too up and down. What are you going to stay down all your life? You got to get some positivity. You gotta go to excited to come to work. So you got to celebrate those wins. Okay, so you need to calm down with that.
I had 5 cups of coffee here.
Whether it was pretty, whether it was ugly. Look, I thought Rodgers played outstanding. I thought he led the team to a great victory. The defense stepped up when they needed to. Hey, the referees helped them out. It doesn't matter. It's a win. It's a rivalry game. And now you forget it. And they're moved on to the next week. Now they got the Dolphins. Then they've got the Lions, who's fighting for their life. Then they've got the Bengals, who are still not completely out of it yet. I mean, you take away the Joe Burrow hand grenade interception, they win, they go and upset Buffalo. And then you've got the Ravens again. So, listen, celebrate the win you just had this week. Now get back to work, move on, and it's one game at a time from this point forward. You got 4 games left.
All right. And I agree with Mike. Enjoy the moment. I just didn't like the blowing of the kiss by Tomlin afterwards like he'd won the Super Bowl or AFC Championship.
A win is a win, a rivalry win. I don't care how you get it. I don't care what the referees say and do. A win is a win. That's all that matters.
All right, so the Miami tuna fish are coming up here, and I want to switch over to our defense right now. Again, just to hearken on how low they are stats, the yards they're giving up, this horrible pass defense. And the anomaly for me is this, and I want to evaluate last week's game in a positive aspect. Joey Porter put his hands in his pocket a little bit, and he played some decent football. He wasn't holding people. Even the week before, we were talking about how he made so many tackles. So I do want to give props to Joey Porter. Maybe he's growing up. Maybe he's learning a little bit. And I tell you who's a baller, who's finally coming into his own, James Pierre. Mike, at one point he sprinted across the field 60 yards to make a tackle. That's called hustle, and he made some great plays. You look at the ability of Gainwell. You look at Jaylen Warren. There's talent on this team. Defensively, I mean, I love what Ramsey's doing. Again, it comes down to, I've said it all season, the offense for the Miami Dolphins. They're very, very good at running the football. The Steelers' defensive line has been playing this crazy stack and shed. I don't think it works against the Dolphins. And again, the linebacking core, there's some bright spots on defense, Mike, but again, go to the stats. They're at the bottom of the league in so many stats.
Well, again, it's going to come down to the first stat that matters most directly to winning or losing is the turnover takeover battle. You know, hey, the Steelers, again, number 1 in forced fumbles. The Dolphins are number 2 in forced fumbles. So both defenses are good at punching the football out. Who can take care of the football, who can minimize that, is going to have the edge. Secondly, it's going to come down to establishing the run on the offense and stopping the run on the defense. The Dolphins are 8th in the league in rushing right now.
Yeah.
They're middle of the pack, 14 in passing. The Steelers' pass defense is not the greatest right now.
They're liable to make Tua look like Dan Marino.
Well, they're going to have to force him to, you know, and will they use a play action pass? I mean, if I'm the Dolphins with A-Chain as my running back and I'm trying to establish that run, I am going to play action and try to get Jalen Waddle loose in that secondary. They have enough weapons to cause some concern. But again, the Steelers, to me, they've got to be able to run the football. The Dolphins' pass defense is slightly better. Actually, it's much better. Dolphins' pass defense is 8th, and their run defense is middle of the pack. But you got to establish a run. You got to use up the clock. The Dolphins are probably going to use up the clock. This could be the first game, if you know, the shortest game, if they're both running the football back and forth. It's just who can protect the football, and then who can come away with the red zone points. You know, can they punch it in? The Dolphins have struggled recently into the red zone a little bit. You know, they've had a few here and there, but they're big on the run. They get the run game. If A-Chain gets loose and he's got the speed to take it to the distance, that's what your concern is. So, again, get up there, load the box, stop that run, play some man, you know, because here's the thing. If you're playing man coverage, you're not watching. Your eyes aren't in the backfield as much on the play action pass. Just stick to your guy, trust the front 7 to do their job, and don't let anyone loose in the secondary so they don't get those big plays off the play action pass. Dolphins aren't going to throw the ball much. They're about 20 times a game throwing, so you want to get them into that, something that they're uncomfortable with. Force Tua to throw, force him to hold on to it, and you might knock him out with a concussion because he is a little concussion prone.
Which is absolutely a shame. You know, I do want to mention something, Asante Samuels. Mike, when this kid came in the league, he was a baller. And he has that spinal cord injury that harkens right back to our good buddy playing inside linebacker a few years ago, Ryan Shazier, when he went down. I mean, to play professional football with a fused spine doesn't mean that he still doesn't have game and doesn't mean he can't cover. I do expect that he's going to get elevated from the practice squad and see time this week. What better way against a team that's a heavy running team? Get him back there, get him a little bit familiar with his teammates.
Well, so that's one aspect. But I will say the other aspect you got to look at is no one should know the Dolphins. They should be able to manipulate them. No one should know Minka Fitzpatrick better than what the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a little bit of a revenge game. He's coming back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, he's with a chip on his shoulder.
And he's going to be ready. I'm sure he has that defense fired up. So can you use what you know about him against him?
Oh, I love it. A chess match, no doubt about it. So as you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers team, Mike's a little bit more optimistic. He's taking it one game at a time, enjoying it one day at a time, a game at a time, which, look, I'm going to be one of the saddest people when football season's over. All I got to look for is ice skating on NBC to watch, which ain't bad. You know, some of those ladies are pretty good looking, but I'm not into ice skating, and I love football. I guess what I'm saying is the win over Baltimore was simply that. It left me flat, knowing that Likely did make that touchdown, and we should have lost. I am flat knowing that statistically, both offensively and defensively, this team is towards the bottom of the league in so many stats. And it just leaves me wanting more. Mike, I think they split this series. They beat the tuna fish. They're going to stick them in a can, send them back to Miami. They're going to go up to your Detroit Lions and get smoked by the Detroit Lions. I think they lose to the Bengals. Then all bets are off, and we got to play Ravens down here again.
They're not going to lose to the Bengals. They're going to play the Browns.
I mean the Browns. Yeah, the Bengals.
And
the Browns.
So you're going to have to deal with Myles Garrett, and obviously then you're going to have to deal. So you've got the Dolphins this week. You got Minka coming back in, revenge game. They're on a 4-game win streak. They're feeling good. They're fighting for a potential last saving spot of a playoff spot.
Well, first of all, they haven't beaten anybody. You know they've run this win streak. Ain't beating nobody. Okay. They ain't beating the Texans. Okay. They ain't beating the Patriots. I think they beat up on the Jets and a couple other bums.
You're too high and low. Too high and low.
It's the caffeine.
You won a game. You were mad about the win last week. It wasn't good enough, but they got a win. So now they play Minka. Then they got to go up to Detroit. Now you're going to play some of these good passers. You got Aiden Hutchinson. Then the following week you got Myles Garrett, and then you got the rivalry game against the Baltimore Ravens. Look, one game at a time. Find a way to win. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if you killed him. I don't care if you win by 1 point. I don't care if the referee
He's getting me fired up.
Relax. It's one game at a time.
All right. I'm Tank. He's Mike. I want to say one last thing. You better keep an eye on that blind side. Broderick Jones went down. He's out for the season with his injury, from what everybody on the south side is telling me. Now all of a sudden, Mr. Pete was playing some decent football. He's also out with a head injury. You're down to Cookie over there at left tackle, and your starting quarterback already has a broken arm, has been concussed,
he's moving around,
and beat
he's a
up.
warrior, and he still has it. He still has it.
He does, but when you have no blindside tackle, I still think we beat the tuna fish this weekend. All right, I'm Tank. He's Mike from Cigars International here in Bridgeville, PA. I don't know. I'm going to go in the parking lot and just yell. Goodbye.
Who is that man with the big cigar? He's known around from near and far. That actor man with the big cigar. He pops away every night and day with a twinkle in his eye. And all the while, behind that smile lurks many an untold lie. Down Whitehall Way, you'll see his car. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere with the big cigar.
Parking chair vodka. Respect the chair. It's a Pittsburgh thing.
Lawrenceville Distilling.
We're from the town with that great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chuck Noll and all his friends are all